In solo leveling, after reporters began crowding in front of my glorious king's house, he asked Gina if she wanted him to go down there to tell them off. But she responded telling him not to do anything since he was already receiving a ton of hate comments on the internet, so there was no need to add fuel to the fire. This made Drippy Woo ask what he ever did to deserve hate, making Gina respond, telling him to remember that he snubbed the reporters after he reawakened. She didn't care about the people outside, so neither should he. But someone suddenly began knocking on the door, scaring the shit out of Gina, making Drippy Woo say that he had enough and would give them a piece of his mind. And as he was opening the door telling them to cut it out, Jinho can be seen sobbing, saying that his father kicked him out of the house, making Drippy Woo look mad confused. He then said that he thought he had his own place, making Jinho reply saying the apartment he was living in was bought under his father's name. The door suddenly began to close as he asked if it would be alright if he crashed at his place for a while. Gina then asked if it was someone he knew, but Drizzy Woo replied saying he's never seen him before in his life. Jinho then started frantically knocking on the door, begging him to let him in. The panel then switched over to Jinho's mom, asking if he wasn't being a little too harsh on their son today. But the president responded saying he wasn't harsh enough. If he truly wanted to make something of himself, he should have paved his own path, but instead he decided to work for someone else. But something suddenly felt wrong, saying it was strange. His wife responded asking what was wrong, as he replied saying that he was seeing two of her suddenly falling to the floor. The panel switched over to Drippy Woo opening the door to Gina's room, saying that someone might try to talk to her while he's gone. He then summoned his shadow, saying that one of the soldiers should be enough to fend off an A rank. But he looked behind, questioning why there were only 3 of them here when Tusk had 4 guards. But he remembered that he wasn't able to make the 4th one into a shadow because he splattered him into the ceiling. He told 2 of them to go back inside, telling the 3rd one to guard his sister, and he would let him keep the other 2 as backup. The soldier then dispersed into her shadow, making Drippy Woo say that he should up the security of the entire neighborhood while he's at it, summoning a dozen of his basic rank shadows, saying that from now on they would be the neighborhood watch group, telling them to be careful to not be seen by anyone while making their rounds. He then commanded them to go on and patrol the area. Even if an unaliver were to appear, they wouldn't be able to win against his shadows unless they're a high-ranking hunter, so this would be his small contribution to society. The next day arose as Drippy Woo asked Jinho if he slept okay last night. He responded saying he did, telling him that motels these days had great facilities. He then said it was good, telling him to stay there until he found an office space for their guild, thinking to himself that he didn't think he'd actually turn down the guild master position from his father, but he turned it down for him so he couldn't say anything bad. Drizzy Woo quickly slid the van's door open, telling Jinho he would be back, disappearing in an instant as the system stated that he entered the demon's castle.